Welcome to the webinar. We have two great presenters with us who will discuss the challenges around the missing link to a future-proof and smart private cloud. First, we have Francesca Ciarletta, who is a research manager for IDC. She will be followed by Thomas Gierek from Cloud Platform Services at T-Systems. Over to you, Francesca.
Thank you, Alison, and hello everyone. It's a great pleasure to be with you today. I'm an IDC analyst based in London, and I lead managed cloud services research in Europe, which sits at the intersection between cloud and services, looking at the evolution of managed services towards cloud-based models, and how European organizations leverage managed cloud services to be successful in their cloud journey. So I've been asked here today to help setting the scene with private cloud. So I'll be giving you an update on the evolving role of cloud as enabler of digital first strategy, with a focus on how private cloud can function as a bridge between on-premise and public cloud, and what IT leaders can do to take full advantage of private cloud to advance their digital transformation journey. So I thought a good way to start is to give you a sense of some of the dynamics that we are seeing in the European market. In recent years, we've seen a stream of macroeconomic turbulence that has had a significant impact on the ability of enterprises to innovate, compete, and in many instances to even conduct their business. So more than ever before, enterprises are realizing that they need digital-first strategies to strengthen business resilience in the face of these challenges, and also to prepare for a potential recession on the horizon. And cloud plays an important role in this. Enterprises are set to increase the use of cloud over the next 2 years, with the top 3 macroeconomic drivers split between the pandemic, which has upended old ways of working in favor of on-demand computing services, but also the need to strengthen cybersecurity posture on the back of the heightened risk of cyber attacks. And finally, cloud is seen as essential to help enterprises become more sustainable, which has become a boardroom priority. So within this context, we are seeing that the role of cloud has really evolved. Cloud is not seen as a pure technology transformation anymore, but IT leaders are taking a more pragmatic approach towards cloud, and looking at our latest multi-cloud survey results, European enterprises perceive cloud today as a model that helps them to modernize legacy applications, and this underscores the need to deliver on their digital transformation mandates. Cloud also allows them to optimize costs for greater operational efficiencies. And finally, cloud is viewed as an innovation accelerator to develop new digital products and services. When it comes to how cloud support an enterprise, so it becomes clear that it has become the way to achieve deep business transformation. And that's because cloud is reinventing the way enterprises operate and deliver value to their customers. In order for enterprises to deliver on the digital business needs of today, they need access to innovative, resilient, and trusted technology, which is built on an autonomous digital infrastructure. A cloud in all its diversity and ubiquity underpins the digital infrastructure of the future. And this digital infrastructure spans across compute, storage, network, infrastructure software, containers, leveraging automation, artificial intelligence, security software, and cloud services needed to maintain and optimize both the legacy and modern applications and data. And ecosystem partners, including service providers and channel partners, are also an important contributor to the future of this digital infrastructure. And the end goal is for organizations to dynamically optimize end-to-end performance across on-premises data centers, edge systems, as well as public cloud services consistently to realize higher levels of operational resiliency, security, revenue growth, and overall productivity at scale. But despite an acceleration of cloud adoption, only a handful of enterprises today have reached the most advanced stage of cloud maturity, which we call optimized. And this is where the companies applies consistent compliance, security and governance policies and frameworks across different IT destinations and environments. But many more, we can see that 41% of large organizations in Europe are still at the early stages of cloud adoption, either piloting and validating the technology or undertaking a series of cloud initiatives that lack consistencies or a unified effort across the enterprise. And looking forward, over the next 2 years, the picture doesn't look much more positive, as by 2024, still 36 of enterprises expect to remain at the early stages of cloud maturity. And so the risk for these enterprises is to fall behind their competitors in the digital economy race as the pace of cloud adoption accelerates, widening the gap between digital leaders and laggards. When we look at what is holding enterprises back, one of the prominent factors are the IT legacy applications. In 2021, last year, almost 30% of enterprises' business applications, including CRM, ERP, and so forth, resided in an on-premise traditional IT environment. And while the share of enterprise workloads on the public cloud will continue to grow, so we see that by 2024, almost half of European enterprises will have migrated over half of their workloads to a public cloud. The picture is a little bit more complex. So, for example, now when we look at migration strategies for business applications, particularly around supply chain management, human capital management, and finance and accounting, over the next 2 years, most enterprises are clearly focused on moving those applications onto the public cloud. However, almost 20% of enterprises are looking at either retaining these applications on-premise or even repatriate from the public cloud. And there are many reasons behind these decisions. Most have applications that are monolithic, they're inflexible, maybe outdated, and this legacy is difficult and costly to upgrade or refactor, but also essential to meet those digital business needs. And many applications are also too complex to migrate to a public cloud. And so many workloads will still linger on-premise, and many are certainly within the enterprise space also are running on VMware. Also, we can see that within that 20%, a handful of companies expect that the decision they made may not be ideal for a long-term workload placement. And therefore, some will have repatriated those public cloud applications back to an on-premise environment. When we look at the top challenges that prevents enterprises from migrating applications to the cloud, they are mainly focused on around a legacy infrastructure, skills, and applications classification. And that means that overall, when enterprises look at migrating legacy systems, there is so much complexity, and the task is very intricate and require diligent and careful planning beyond the application layer itself, but also around the infrastructure and the skills necessary to carry it through. When we think about the need to modernize infrastructure first, enterprises have outdated data centers that do not fit the performance or the architecture requirements of modern cloud applications. In terms of skill shortages, the lack of talent around the whole application's lifecycle, from planning to migrating the applications to the cloud, to the application management and development of cloud-native software, is also another serious roadblock. And a link to that, in some cases, enterprises also need to overcome their own cultural resistance to change in order to acquire and build those cloud skills. And thirdly, assessing applications for migration also is a major hindrance. And this refers to the readiness to the cloud. So it includes determining what to migrate, when to migrate it, and in which environment, but also entails careful planning to minimize disruption, especially when it comes to migrating mission-critical applications. So when enterprises look at migrating or modernizing their applications landscape, they consider a multitude of factors which don't always lead to a public cloud. So what we are seeing is that while in the past, cloud first was the dominant strategy among enterprises, now enterprises are leaning more towards getting the cloud right, which means choosing the most suitable cloud based on the individual workload requirements to optimize resilience, security, posture, cost, and so forth. We see private cloud infrastructure to continue to play a prominent role, influencing how companies conceive their overall cloud strategy to meet their performance, regulatory, and security requirements. And when it comes to select the right cloud deployment model, enterprises tend to prefer private cloud for those workloads that require high level of security and optimization. So in terms of security, moving to the cloud brings a host of cybersecurity risks. And so security remains also the #1 cause of failure behind a public or hybrid cloud transformation. And therefore, security remains the main factor that drives 41% of enterprises to choose private over public cloud. And this is particularly evident among European financial services organizations. From a regulatory perspective, while at the regional level, private and public cloud are on par, highly regulated industries, and particularly financial services, clearly lean a little bit more towards private cloud over public. And in addition to that, let's not forget the increasing importance of digital sovereignty as digital technology concerned across jurisdictions, which we expect to contribute to the growing uptake of private cloud. From a resource utilization optimization standpoint, private cloud provides businesses more oversight and flexibility over assets and applications, although they often lack the resources to keep private cloud costs on track. As a result, a common approach is to run critical workloads on a private cloud or a hybrid cloud while concurrently expanding the use of public cloud. And our data shows that 80% of enterprises rely on a hybrid cloud strategy today. a hybrid cloud model can meet the critical enterprise needs while ensuring their competitive positions and driving differentiation, as a private and hybrid cloud are critical for implementation of IT infrastructure to deliver new services to customers and change business processes. And while private cloud is a common stepping stone of data center modernization, we note increasing IT diversification with 48% of enterprises using public cloud across IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, and 25% adopting multi-cloud, alongside the IT legacy that remains part of this heterogeneous IT landscape. And even within the private cloud model, enterprises adopt multiple nuances of private cloud as more dedicated cloud infrastructure platforms are made available as remotely managed on-premises services. And as a result, the model of a hybrid cloud increasingly often includes private cloud services, many of the characteristics of public cloud, such as standardization and the delivery of pay-as-you-go model. With increased diversification comes also increased complexity. And while the goal is to have a hybrid cloud architecture that allows applications to be fluidly moved across compute and storage resources following the evolving technology and business requirements of the users, the reality is that most of these various public and private cloud deployments tend to operate as silos with limited workflow and data integration. And this ultimately limits the enterprise ability to reap the full benefits of cloud from a business standpoint. And one of the ways to change that is to look at the integrating cloud operations. So understanding cloud operations becomes critical, whether on a public or a private cloud. And many enterprises monitor the use of private or public clouds by leveraging vendors' tools. However, multi-cloud monitoring requires the introduction of a unified platform that will combine all clouds into one pool that can be managed from one single pane of glass, allowing for a comprehensive view with a high level of service. So hybrid cloud is complex, and to achieve fully business benefits of the hybrid cloud, enterprises need to commit to a journey of continuous transformation and integration. There are some steps that enterprises can take to ease the intricacies of cloud adoption at scale. And we can summarize these steps into 4 major points. So the first one is around building the right competencies. It's very difficult for enterprises to have full resources and competencies in-house. So service providers with the right cloud expertise can make a huge difference in the success of cloud migration. Partners can offer a broad set of cloud capabilities and support an outcome-based approach, which aligns the adoption of technologies and cloud deployment models to the broader business objectives to achieve deeper transformation. The second point is that enterprises need to access a digital ecosystem. Successful digital-led enterprises realize that technology extends beyond the IT department to include a digital ecosystem that allows to combine in-house capabilities with external best-of-breed approach. And that requires tapping into the right partner, which can complement technology and services capabilities that that the enterprise is lacking in-house. And when it comes to the cloud migration itself, it's important to adopt a workload-based approach to select the right cloud for the right workload and business requirements. And that means placing resources in the optimal location according to their latency, availability, and compliance requirement. As processes resides in diverse locations from core to cloud to the edge, applications need to follow as well. And finally, the integration piece is key to overcome silos within IT. And while critical business workloads may continue to run in existing core enterprise data centers or colocation facilities, newly developed cloud-native apps live in cloud environments. So integrating private cloud and public cloud through a platform-centric approach is needed to make the most of both deployment types. And hybrid and multi-cloud management platform tools are the glue that allow enterprises to administer their business-critical workloads across the two cloud models efficiently. And that takes us to the end of this presentation. Thank you for listening, and over to you, Alison.
Thank you, Francesca, for those interesting market insights from IDC. I'd now like to hand over to Thomas Gierig for the T-Systems view.
Hello, everybody. My name is Thomas Gierig. I'm leading at T-Systems the solution design for cloud platform services. And I'd like to welcome you to this webinar, and let me take you in the next 20 minutes on our future cloud infrastructure, the private cloud for future needs. So we as T-Systems, we are a company who has an agnostic approach when it gets to cloud platform services. So that means most of our customers have a public cloud first approach. They want to go to public cloud, but beside public cloud, there are still some private cloud needs. And we as T-Systems, we are agnostic partners for our customers. So we are able to support our customers on all leading hyperscaler platforms offering managed services. But beside that, we as T-Systems are operating as well own cloud platforms. For example, future cloud infrastructure, open telecom cloud, and together with Google, we are running for Germany the Google Sovereign Cloud, which is sovereign service on top of the Google public cloud that we are offering in the German market. As mentioned before, when we are looking in the cloud market, for sure, the approach of most of our customers is a multi and hybrid cloud approach. So that means we do not find a customer who is only going in direction of a public cloud or going in direction of a private cloud. What we see with our customers, it's always a mix. So that means on one side, right, we are really focused on the hyperscaler topics. We are focused on sovereign topics, but in the middle, there is still a private cloud, which is called future cloud infrastructure, where I want to give you a little bit more heads up in the next couple of minutes. So we as T-Systems, we are supporting our customers in innovation, because innovation is always application driven. When we are looking on how things are going, then we see the application-led approach is where customer wants to go there. They have this cloud-first approach, and that is the way forward in how we are supporting our clients in the digitization approach, right? Where we are showing them the road to digital business, because this is the success, if you're going in this direction. So there's a big challenge that I see when we are talking to CIOs. I mean, we see a lot of CIOs, and they currently do not have this FMO topic, future mode of operation topic. I mean, they are really quite clear. They want to move as much as possible of their applications into public cloud services based on a topic that in public cloud services, I can really consume topics out of this rich ecosystem out of the public cloud services. But on the other side, they still have a lot of current mode of operation application services that they cannot be easily moved into a public cloud service. And that makes them some headache. That is at least what we see here as T-Systems. So it means the applications that cannot be moved to public cloud, which are cost intensive, they are very complex in how these infrastructures are built, And here, we as T-Systems step in and say, let's help this CIOs or let's help these companies in supporting the legacy challenge that these customers have. mean, on one side, driving digital, on the other side, supporting legacy, yeah, that is something that most of the CIOs need to bring together, yeah, and that is how we are stepping in and why we have seen as T-Systems there's a big need, yeah, on a service that supports this legacy topic. I mean, when we're looking on the challenges, moving everything into public cloud, yeah, that means for our customers that they are still old legacy services. They are still old legacy services that are not ready to run in new cloud-based platforms. There are still security and audit requirements. I mean, when we're looking at our customer base, a lot of our customers have really a topic, I mean, they need to support specific security needs, and on the other side, they also need to support compliance topics. They need to support the audit requirements, yeah? And this keeps them away for some kind of services to move these services into public cloud. Means private and public cloud, yeah, is always, how can I say that? It's always a model which fits together. I always talked about multi and hybrid cloud. I mean, at the end, customers are looking for a solution, yeah, which can support both private and public cloud, yeah. They're looking for service providers that are able to support both. And last but not least, yeah, most of our customers have a big cost optimization and CMO challenge. I mean, I just mentioned it. So they have already a clear picture. They want to move services into public cloud on one side, yeah, based on the topic that they can consume things out of this rich ecosystem that public cloud is offering. But on the other side, they have this cost-intensive CMO platform. And this cost-intensive CMO platform is most likely complex, no automation inside such platforms. You need to spend for R&D costs, yeah, and everything, yeah. This platform is there, and you need to support this platform. And even you need to maintain them. You need to buy new hardware. You need to buy new software, and that makes things are really, really difficult. Why it makes things difficult? Because you have decided as customer that you want to go for the FMO in a public cloud service. Meaning the future mode of operation, you're going for a public cloud service. So that means you already have planned, move things out of the current mode of operation to the future mode of operation in public cloud. That means now you need to buy new hardware, but are you sure that you will use this hardware next year again, right? Because the application which is running on this hardware is moved to the public cloud, yeah, because you modernize this application, you refactor the application, and now you stick on this block of new hardware that you have sold, right? I mean, you have no guarantee that the resources that you're buying to support your current mode of operation are still needed next year. I mean, you've unused hardware in your data center. That's a big risk that the company is facing here. And that's why we see as T-Systems, there's a big need, yeah, on a private cloud service. A private cloud service which is able to break the legacy and complexity cycle by offering a current mode of operation service for applications that cannot be moved to the public cloud. And what we see there is that customers are looking for a lean and cost-effective infrastructure service also for the current mode of operation that they have today. And then the other side, they have this need on security, compliant, and regulatory service, which I already mentioned before. It should fit into a hybrid cloud approach or in a multi-cloud approach, yeah, supported by a cloud connectivity layer. And last but not least, and I think that is the most important thing, customers are also looking for the CMO applications and stuff that they have there, to that this new platform that you're using for the CMO applications is also supporting things like CI/CD pipeline, DevOps, yeah. And that is something which is very important also when we talk about a private cloud world. One thing which is really clear, when the private cloud service that we are bringing in place here with future cloud infrastructure is not in competition with public cloud. It's a complementary service. It's a service that helps to speed up cloud-first projects by considering and supporting the CMO challenge. Again, we are focusing on the CMO challenge and supporting our customers in the transformation on their digital journey to public cloud services, application-led. So that is where we are stepping in here with our private cloud solution, which is called Future Cloud Infrastructure. Future Cloud Infrastructure is based on market-leading technology. So what we did is, we built a standard service, which is based on Lenovo hardware with a high grade of hardware automation underneath, speeded by Intel technology. On top, we have the VMware vCloud Foundation, which supports our high grade of automation, which support our software-defined data center approach. So we have NetApp technology when it gets to providing the storage, providing everything that you need around there. And last but not least, and very important, also Cisco technology, which also helps us to offer this multi-cloud connectivity platform, which is an underlying network where we can connect over layer 3 IP connectivity, different clouds, where we can connect data centers, everything in minutes here. And these are the technology partners that we choose, and these are the leading technology partners we choose. So we did intensive POCs with all of these companies, and we found out this is the core, and this is the brand class that we're using here to support our private cloud service. So that means coming again on FCI. So FCI, as we see it as T-Systems, and how FCI should help our customer, is a secure and reliable private cloud service based on the latest VMware technology out of the VMware ecosystems, and really key, that gives customers the possibility to decrease operational efforts. So this is where we are focusing on, decreasing operational efforts as well for current mode of operation services, because bringing automation in, bringing the possibility in that we can execute blueprints and so on, right? And what we're also doing, we are reducing the complexity for the current VMware environment, on one side. And on the other side, we are also increasing agility and speed, because we can now deploy with the high grade of automation. We can deploy application in minutes when it was before hours and days. And we are supporting DevOps and infrastructure as code, which is also great and which is also very important. And FCI helps, and I already mentioned it before, to master the client's legacy challenges for the applications that cannot be moved on public cloud. Moved on public cloud, I already mentioned the reasons, for client security, regulatory, and compliance needs, or applications that need to stay in the private cloud service or need to stay close to a production environment and so on. And FCI delivers up to 25% cost savings comparing to our current platforms that we have there, our dynamic compute platform. And what we're also doing, FCI is a clearly driven OpEx model. So that means if you as customer have a big VMware installation in your data center, right? We move them over to us, So we move the stuff over to us. You do not need to invest furthermore into hardware. You do not need to invest furthermore into software. You do not need to invest furthermore in R&D. This is everything that we are absorbing for you. And what's also great is there is only a minimum commitment that you need to take, right? The rest is up to us. So that means we are carrying the risk on scaling up, scaling down when platforms are unused. If you have unused resources, I mean, these are now unused resources in our data center where we are taking care about, where not you as customer need to take care about. So I mean, this is up to us, and really limits the risk on your side, on the customer side, and that's a very important topic. And when we talk about future cloud infrastructure, these enterprise grade VMware services, let me give you a little bit more background on technology and what we're doing there. So first of all, the future cloud infrastructure is based on a hyperconverged infrastructure, Lenovo technology. What does it mean? Everything is virtualized. Storage, memory, CPU, everything is virtualized, which means we really can give the customer what he needs on a very specific way. So that means customer needs 5 vCPUs, needs this amount of storage, needs this amount of memory. We can cut it together for the customer how we like to have it. And also very important, the completely FCI infrastructure is based on a software-defined data center approach. You are getting in our environment our own software-defined data center that you can manage fully by yourself. Yeah, that is something that is also quite important. We are addressing, and I mentioned that quite very often now, we are addressing legacy. That is something that we are addressing with FCI. We are addressing legacy without refactoring. So that means you do not need to refactor your applications if you want to move them on this modern-based private cloud service. End-to-end automation, I already mentioned that, via portal or via APIs. The end-to-end automation is something which is really great. I mean, this gives the full potential that customer needs, yeah, in really, for example, building a three-tier application, yeah, that get automatically executed by pushing a button, ordering something out of the shop system, yeah, via the portal, yeah, or via API. You're connected to your ServiceNow catalog, where you have a catalog element which says three-tier application based on middleware and some Windows servers, whatever, right? Just one click and it moves, yeah. Zero-touch migration, also quite really important. Zero-touch migration from your current infrastructure into our infrastructure means we're doing a most likely seamless shift from left to right, from your data center to our data center, with a zero-touch migration approach based on VMware technology. But here, quite really clear, there's also something that we need to mention. There's nothing that works for all applications, but a lot of applications and VMs that are in your data center, we can take over into our data center. Flexible service that we're offering there, I just mentioned it at the beginning. You can run the service by your own. So that means we are offering you a software-defined data center where you have full control, where you're managing the complete IaaS stack. But on the other side, we can also offer, in addition to this flexible service where you are running the IaaS stack, we can also offer you a managed IaaS stack where we are taking the completely management and we are driving everything for you. So again, your choice, managed service or self-service. I already mentioned that right now very often, risk, security, compliance, yeah, under German law and regulations. That is something which is very important. Speed deployment from days to hours. Really, we did tests with customers where it took in the past 2 days to get an application up and running, right? And now, what we're doing here with the vCloud Foundation from VMware that we're using for this end-to-end automation to drive the software-defined data center approach, yeah, we are really able to go from deployments from days to hours, even minutes. TCO compete on price. That's also quite important. I mean, there's a lot of saving potential, and not only on the platform side. Bigger potential in saving is on your side. I mean, you're increasing developers' productivity, for example. You're reducing your own efforts in managing services, yeah. And this is really key. And last but not least, it's also the peer into multi and hybrid cloud management approach, yeah. With the VMware Cloud Foundation, I'm also able out of FCI to manage VMware on Azure, VMware on AWS, and one logo is missing, even on Google. So because there's also a VMware engine available in Google. So it means we can deploy it really also cross clouds into other clouds. But again, you need a foundation and the maturity of the service in FCI. That is quite really important. But think about scenarios where you say, okay, under security and regulatory or compliance needs, I need to deploy the service in the private cloud. Yeah. But now I want to develop something. I want to develop a new service. You can do the development on Azure or AWS or Google, right? And then the operation of the platform or the service in itself later is running again back on a private cloud service. So I mean that's really a great opportunity, yeah, in also using a hybrid cloud approach and driving that in this direction. So it means our end-to-end VMware cloud ecosystems, yeah, and our enterprise grant service, I mean, we have the VMware on T-Systems cloud, which is SCI. But then we are also able to offer VMware on hyperscaler cloud. You've seen it before. And when we are driving it further, we as the system in general also can do it on a hyperscaler native. And on top, we have value-add services that we are providing to our customers, the advanced security services, the migration services, DevOps services. We are driving managed cloud OS. We have the multi-cloud connectivity platform that I mentioned before. We do BCS, backup and storage, compliance management, the application modernization. We have container services running on top based on VMware Tanzu, but also other Kubernetes containers are running there on top, and the cross-cloud management. And the benefits are, right, and that is quite really clear, yeah. We have a lot of skills and expertise in driving that for you, yeah. We are highly optimized for VMware workloads, our platforms, and we are managing the complexity when it gets to a multi and hybrid cloud approach. So the really important thing for me is having an idea what is it good for, right? And let me give you some general use cases, and the general use cases we already talked about, which is complex and cost incentive IT environment, where I want to have future saving targets. We talk about the applications that are not cloud native and cannot be utilized in the public cloud. Their functionalities is not possible, and you do not have the money to invest in application modernization. And last but not least, we already talked about that very often is now the applications that due to security and compliance and regulatory reasons cannot be operated in a public cloud service. So the offering means this is a private cloud service. I already mentioned that. The SCI platform. We have also, and it's also quite really important, is cloud migration service. Means it's a secure and tailored and proven journey into the cloud, yeah, where we can support you in driving the zero-touch VM to VM migration, yeah, and the multi-cloud connectivity platform. And the value is quite really clear: the cost savings, speed and agility, faster time to market with the private cloud to support DevOps and infrastructure as code, and the flexibility to execute to your cloud strategy means demands you to build in migration paths to the hyperscalers that we've ordered there in when it comes to SCI. And now some industry-specific and vertical use cases, and these are real customer scenarios. And the first one is a customer out of the public cloud sector, which really came to us and say, hey guys, I need a private cloud service, or I need a cloud service that gets delivered out of an EU data center with EU resources, and in addition with off-prem capabilities. Yeah, and that is also great. I mean, with SCI, we can build SCI into our data center, but we can build also SCI into your data center, the customer data center. Yeah, so and that was quite really important for these customers because he wants to have capabilities on-prem based on the topic that he had some needs on getting infrastructure close to his environment that he's providing, that he is internally. Also, quite really important for the customers that there's a strong VMware footprint in the platform, yeah, and we are able to take over this existing VMware workloads, yeah, with an easy lift and shift, and that there is no impact on the operation that he has today. The next customer, I really like this example. It's a manufacturing customer. It's a customer who has a very strong VMware footprint with more than 10,000 VMs. I think and that's only one part of the customer, one unit of the customer. In total, the customer has 35,000 VMs, and the landscape is really heterogeneous and complex. So he's using different VMware licenses, different hardware. He has not an end-to-end automation, right? And there's a strong pressure on costs with this customer, right? And they are lacking on investing for platform R&D, optimizing things, yeah. And even they're looking that they do not need to invest future capex in their VMware landscape, as they also have a public cloud first approach. But they still have this big installation which is very cost intensive, and now the customer needs to invest. And that is where we are stepping in, right? And when we say, hey, come on, yeah, we are working for you as a extended workbench. We can start building a third tier for you, and more of your services is moving into our data center. And the last customer that I have here is customer out of the chemical industry. And this customer out of the chemical industry, yeah, has made a decision on moving workloads to Azure. Nevertheless, some of these workloads, Windows, Linux, and specific other workloads, the customer was not able to bring them and modernize them that is effective to move them into the public cloud. And it was also cost intensive, and time was lacking, meaning it was lagging on time to move the service over, right? And that's why the customer was looking on a solution that supports his CMO approach, his current mode of operation approach, where he can do an easy lift and shift by really getting costs down, increasing speed and automation in delivering the workloads to the business. So that was also quite really key. Really, 3 very good customer examples, yeah, which show how FCI supports customers in their current mode of operation challenges that they have. So meanwhile, we have a lot of customers on our platform, really big customers, starting from where we sign contracts starting for more than 20,000 VMs, yeah, but also smaller customers. When we talk about a couple of 100 VMs, that are the customers that we are now bringing to our platform. Yeah, we have a lot of customers already productive on the platform. So it means, and we're showing them that they have really a big advantage. And if you want to talk to a customer, come back to us, and we will make a link to you. You can talk to one of these customers that they can explain to you what was the benefit from your side. So looking very quick on the FCI family. Maybe the FCI family is based on 3 core foundations, which is the FCI dedicated, where you're getting as a customer own software-defined data center, which is run in a D4, D3 model out of the Frankfurt data center. And we have also a service that we are supporting out of Biere Magdeburg, operated with German staff only, and driven by German people. The IASA data center is a service that we are supporting with offshore, with nearshore capabilities. Offshore is currently not a delivery model that we're using here. So we have a twin core set up, right? And there's direct management access for the customer, which I always mention quite really often. So you have your own software-defined data center where you have really access down to the hypervisor and can do everything. Then we are running that in a shared model as well, that offered by a multi-tenant hosting approach, right? It means here we are focusing on customers who do not need a full data center, a full own software-defined data center, and it's a smaller scale, right? That is something where we are providing, for example, our SAP service out. So our SAP service are running in a FCI shared model. Means our unit SAP inside T-Systems, they're getting a FCI dedicated. They're slicing the elephants into pieces, making out of the dedicated FCI shared, and offering then a shared infrastructure to their customers with the SAP services. And last but not least, and I mentioned it already, FCI is also available on-prem, right? There are two flavors of on-prem. One flavor is that we are offering FCI with a really own software-defined data center built in a customer data center. And on the other side, we have a so-called FCI on-prem robo, remote and branch office. That is the entire solution where customers do not need a software-defined data center on-site. So that is what we are offering there. Then the additional service that we have is business continuity service, managed cloud OS that we are providing there, the storage services, the private cloud managed services, and other services as well, like multi-cloud connectivity, hybrid application services, managed container services, application modernization driven out of our cloud migration team. Yeah. And detection on prevention security services, that is also something which comes on top. So in summary, so when we're looking on FCI, it's an enterprise grant VMware service really focused on VMware customers coming out of the VMware systems. We are helping these customers in reducing their operational risk, and really support them, increasing agility and flexibility, no further need for investments. It's a solution where we can help the customers from legacy to cloud, because we are providing a cloud-based service also for legacy applications. We're supporting the customers in their topic, and last but not least, the business value and TCO savings I already mentioned it. And it's always the proof of the pudding. What we are offering is we are offering a FCI trial for a really low budget where you can test FCI with your own applications here. So that means it's really a low budget thing. Get back to us, talk to us. We can offer you a software-defined data center for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, including technical support, and you can test it. And what we're doing for free is we can do a so-called jumpstart workshop where we are sizing the financial benefits, where we're showing you how FCI can support you. And there are 50 days free consulting that we are offering to the customer that are fitting in scope of the FCI deployment, which means we need customers who have at least 300 to 500 VMs, and therefore we get in touch with you. We can help you and can support you and size together with you the financial benefits. Yeah. So that was FCI in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed the session. Yeah. Get back to us, right? We would be really happy to support you. And thanks a million for listening to me the last minutes. Yeah, that was Gierig. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much for that. A really insightful session from both you and IDC on this market relevant topic. We hope we've given those watching some insights and possible solutions to the challenges you're facing. And if you need any further information, please check out the T-Systems website, which is www.t-systems.com. Thank you.